This conference will now be recorded.
So that is the meaning of this, what I'm trying to ask.
Sure, Shamak. Wait,
So
I'll
you
try
guys
to.
need to, you guys need to again go ahead and check the respective script. Okay.
Sure.
So that is one thing. Okay, so we'll continue today's section with our respective application load balancer here, right? With respect to application load balancer, and this is going to be an useful, very important in the real-time environment. As you guys are discussing about the huge set of concepts like what is host-based routing, what is path-based, what is source-based, and how the respective header-based routing is going to happen. And HTTP method based, right? So these all the things we're going to discuss in one by one manner, because all the things are going to be really pretty helpful for your respective real-time environment, right? Right, respective real-time environment. So that is one main important thing here. So now here we'll entering into the concept here. So now let me create one instances. So with regards to it, how it going to be supports. So before going to that respective section, so would like to understand about the target groups and its features actually. Right? Target groups and its features, and how the target groups are going to be work, and how these features are going to be work, will going to be work towards that. Just give me a second, guys. Yeah, sorry guys, there is some network issue actually. Okay, hope you guys are not facing any kind of latency now. Okay, so the thing is, will entering into the respective ALB, right? So now here will completely understanding about the target groups. So you are not using the multiple load balancer here, right? You are not using the multiple load balancer to route the request. You are using the single load balancer. With the help of the single load balancer, you are using the features called target group, right? You are using the load balancer features and you are routing the request to the target group. Here you have an application load balancer. Right here you have an application load balancer. Under this respective application load balancer, so here you have been discussing about the right host based target, host based request to the specific target group, right? Specific target group, and then right source IP to that one more specific target group, and here you're going to be in path base to one more target group. And now what is target group, right? And now what target group? Target group is going to be registered with the specific EC2 instances to serve the request of the load balancer. Right here you have an EC2 instance. Right here you have an EC2 instances here. Specific instances to serve the respective load balancer here. Here you have an load balancers here. The specific target group here you have an the EC2 instances which serve the respective request here. So here every request is going to be routed to the specific target group. The target group is registered with the EC2 instances to serve the respective request which is got from the advanced feature of the application load balancer. Only one load balancer, but the target groups are different here, right? The target groups are going to be different here. And these target groups are going to be registered with the specific EC2 instances to serve that specific request. Right? You are not using the multiple application load balancer to achieve the advanced functionality of your respective load balancers, such as host based routing, source IP based, and the path based routing. Right? You are not using the advanced here. Right? You are just using the host based, path based, and source based IP address here. Right? Within the same load balancer, for example, you guys are seeking for an host base. For example, if the end user need to route the request to www.gmail.com, right? He is browsing the request www.gmail.com. This application load balancer will going to be configured with the target group, which is nothing but gmail.google.com, should route it to this specific set of instances, this specific EC2 instances here. This specific EC2 instances. Similarly, if suppose the end user is going to be hit to the www.yahoo.com, right? www.yahoo.com. www.yahoo.com. This is going to be route to the specific target group here. Same application load balancer, but the target group is going to be changed, but it serves only the request of yahoo.com. It serves only the request of yahoo.com. And this yahoo.com target group will going to be registered with only the specific EC2 instances. Only specific EC2 instances. Right? Only specific EC2 instances here. So this is how it's going to be happen. Am I clear on this? Any questions, any doubts? So this is how the requests are going to be routed, right? This is how the requests are going to be routed here. Am I clear? Any questions here? How the requests are going to be done?
No, good.
Right, very important actually. Now we're going to be create a two instances and we're going to create a two target group and we'll try to understand about the firstly host based routing actually. How the host based routing is going to be enabled, right? How the host based routing is going to be enabled, and later we'll enable about the cookie based routing. Later we'll enable the respective IP based routing, right? All these things will going to be enabled one after other, right? That is one thing we're going to be discussed right now, right? Everyone is clear as of now. What you guys are trying to do? So now here, let's create a two instances first. One is with Gmail and second one is with Yahoo. And based upon the routing, right? Based upon the request, you guys are going to be decide the routing path. Let me log in into the instances first. So now here we'll create two instances, we'll changing the routing path here. So now look at carefully here, what you guys are doing here. Let's select the instances. So two instances I'm creating, two different target groups. And the ideology here, we guys are do gmail.google.com should route it to the EC2 instances and yahoo.com should route it to the EC2 instances. For the benefit of the time, you're not creating two instances, you are creating one instances. So go for this one, Amazon Linux 2 and T2 Micro. Here I'm changing, enabling the script of the bootstrapping here. You know how to enable the user data slash bootstrap. So let's consider this is the one with the Yahoo, right? This is the one with the respect to Yahoo here, or this is the example for respective Gmail, right? Gmail.com, www HTML index.html, which is my document. This is the example for the Gmail. So now here let's, as it is, use this one. So add the respective tag as Gmail. So here you are considering the Gmail application here. So as I'm using the Apache web server, I need to open the port 80. Preview and launch the instances. So now here what I'm trying to achieve here is, see, look at here. This is my Google web page actually, right? Home page actually. So here is my applications. If the end user is going to hit gmail.com, it routing to the Gmail, mail.google.com here. Similarly, when your right when you are enabling this respective, right? For example, when you're using chat, it routing to the specific applications called mail.google.com/chat. So how it is pausing actually? So here is the same scenario. This guy using the same application load balancer, but based upon the request of the end user, he is routing to the specific target group. If the end user is going to be hit the respective Gmail, he is going to be enabling the Gmail target group. If the end user is going to hit to the respective Yahoo, is going to be hit to the respective Yahoo target group. That means same application load balancers has routing the request based upon the end user request here, right? Based upon the end user request here. Am I clear on this? Any questions, any doubts? Right? Based upon end user request here. Am I clear on this?
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, clear.
So now here, the same approach you guys are doing here, right now, you're using the same application load balancer, and with the help of this same application load balancer, you guys are using the target group, and with the help of target group, based upon the end user request, will going to be hit to the respective, based upon end user request will going to be hit to the respective target group. That's what you guys are trying to achieve here, right? That is what you guys are doing here. Similarly, you guys are performing the same activity, right? Not only for the host based routing, you guys are performing the activity like path based, source IP based, and cookie based, right? All these areas will going to perform, because these 5 activities are very important here. Similarly, I am launching the respective Yahoo instances as well. So this is the example for the Google gmail.com. So let me launch one more instances here. So here I'm going to be enabling the respective yahoo.com. So now here, let me name this one as an Yahoo. So next equity group, open the port 80 as I'm using the Apache web server, and review and launch. So let's wait for it. Meanwhile, we'll create a respective load balancer. So now you guys are doing with the right application load balancer. As I said earlier, application load balancer will support the HTTP and HTTPS protocol, and it will support the what is the HTTP code it will support? What is the range of the code it's going to be support? HTTP response code. Guys, what is the HTTP response code it's going to be support? 200 to 399, right? 200 to 399 HTTP response code. So now here there is a one more thing called section token. You call this one as an section affinity. What do you call? You call this one as a section affinity. So now very important, this is an interview question actually, and you know the routing policies. What kind of routing policies we'll have in our elastic load balancer, guys?
Round robin and list.
Round robin in
List.
List count.
least count, right? So now here you need to understand about the section affinity feature actually. Section affinity feature here. So what does it do? Any idea about the section affinity? So how many you guys are using the laptops actually, and how many you guys are logged in your respective Amazon.in or Netflix in from your laptop from your respective web browser such as Google Chrome? How many of you guys are logged in with respective Amazon.in or Netflix or any kind of shopping, e-commerce or OTT application? Have you guys are ever logged in to this respective web browser?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
right. So you guys are entering your login credentials, right, such as username and password every day, or you guys are logged in once in a while and you guys are using the same login credentials for you. What you guys are doing actually? Only once, right? But why it is not asking on every day-to-day activities? Why it is not asking you? It is okay with once you have attended, once you have provided that respective username and the password, right? It will not asking you again and again. What makes it actually happening on the behind the scenes?
Yeah,
What is
maybe
it?
there may
It
Sorry?
keeps the cookies with it. Browser keeps the cookie.
Yeah, browser using storing the respective cookies, right? So that is called token actually. That is called token actually. Section token, authentication token actually, right? So now here, how the workflow will going to be work in the real-time environment, right? So whenever the end user is going to hit, listen carefully, this is an entry question. Whenever the end user is going to hit www.amazon.in, right? The first time it going to be logged in with the, right? The first time it going to be logged in with the Amazon.in. The first time it going to be logged in with the respective, as soon as it has entered the end user is going to enter the username and the credentials, it will go with the, right, it will go with the respective authentication server actually, right? Authentication server, this authentication server might be, so back and behind the scenes people are going to use Cognito, right, or Kicklock. Kicklock is an open source actually, or the Kicklock, right? Cognito or Kicklock actually, right? This authentication token. So now here, you guys need to understand about the, so now here you guys need to understand about the, as soon as the end user is enter into the respective username and the password, this Kicklock or Cognito service will going to be generated token actually, that is called section token, right? That is called section token for the authentication. And here this token is going to serve by the respective specific one of the server. So what is the flow? Here you guys are going to hit to the application load balancer. Application load balancer will hit to the target group and it will go with the authentication token first to get your username and credentials. So when you guys are enabling the section affinity, you may have 100 servers, right? Does 100 servers is going to be generate that section token for you for your request? You may have 100 authentication servers. Does 100 servers will going to be generate the section token for your request, for your end user request?
No.
No.
Only one server, right? In the pool of servers, only one server is going to serve, right? When you guys are enable the section affinity, every time the specific request will going to be refer the same server. If suppose there are 100 servers, this specific server has been generated the section token for the one of the end user request. When you guys have enabled the section affinity, this user section request will refer the same server. And the time period you guys need to define in the section affinity, whether it's going to be valid for the 600 seconds, or whether it's going to be valid for the 10 days, or whether it's going to be valid for the 30 days, the token. So that the browsers are not asking you the tokens actually every time. That's why you are not entering the login and username and the password. But when you guys are observing the banking, right, when you guys are logged into the banking domains or banking website, as soon as it reaches to the ideal timeout value, right, if you're not performing any activity, after 60 seconds, the section is going to be timeout. You need to re-enter the logins for the banking if you observed it, isn't it? When you guys are not performing any activity in the banking domains, it will ask you the username and the password again after 60 seconds, because you guys are performing, you're not performing any activity in that respective banking website. Again, you need to enter into the username and the password. That is called section timeout. What you call section timeout actually, because the end user is not performing any activity, it will automatically going to be timeout, right? So that is going to be defined by your respective section affinity actually. So that feature is available in the application load balancer, not on classic load balancer. That feature is available on application load balancer. Remember carefully. You got this point actually. Can anyone help me to understand whether how much you guys are understand about this one? Can anyone go ahead and update me? So Sweta, so what do you have understand about the section affinity actually?
If a user hits for a particular DNS, it provides authentication. It may be for this particular time. It may be either for seconds or for some days.
Yeah, and
For
the
the
same.
session,
Yeah, go ahead.
for the particular session, it won't again ask the user for the authentication. It saves the ID and password, the credentials for that period.
No, it will not save the username and the password actually. It will save the token actually, right?
Okay.
It will save the token actually, right? That is how it going. It will not going to be saved anywhere username and the password. It will, as soon as you guys are enter the username and the password, the authentication server, either it might be incognito, either it might be in key clock. It will generate the key actually. That section token is going to be saved, right? Am I clear on this? Any questions, any doubts? So now here in the load balancer, this is going to be enabled only on your respective application load balancer. So now here you have a lot of features in the application load balancer. This is going to be a developer friendly actually. The application load balancer is a developer friendly actually. You have an EC2, right? You have an EC2 actually. Sorry, you name this one as a production-ALB. So here you have two schemas actually. One is internet facing and second one is internal facing actually. You have two schemas actually. One is internet facing and second one is internal facing actually. So internet facing in the sense, right? Internet facing in the sense, right? Internet facing in the sense you are being enabling that respective, like outside of the world, you can contact your respective application load balancer from the outside of your respective network. That means you guys are can able to reach your application load balancer, right, from outside of the network. Whereas internal in the sense within the VPC, right? Whereas internal in the sense within your network, right? So you have two schemas actually. One is with respective, this is also an interview question. One is with respect to internet facing and second one is with internal facing here. right? Internal facing here. So internet facing in the sense, you guys are need to understand here, right? You can connect the load balancer or you can reach the load balancer from internet, right? Via internet. Whereas internal facing in the sense, you can connect, you cannot connect / reach the load balancer, the ALB via internet here.
So basically, it is intranet, correct?
Intranet within the VPC, right?
Yes.
Within the VPC. So we call this one as within the VPC. So what is within the VPC and how it's going to be happen? We'll discuss in the coming section. Right? We'll discuss in the coming section here. Right? So now here, you guys need to understand about the. So now here, you guys need to understand about the. You are using the internet facing, right? IPv4. Now here, as of now, you don't have your own, right? You don't have your own VPC. You are using the default VPC here, right? Default VPC. This is the right default VPC, and this is the right, and this is the load balancer high availability. Load balancer high availability, not your EC2 instances high availability. Even the load balancer should be high available, right? It will not going to be placed only in the specific availability zone, right? It will not going to space in the specific availability zone. It will space at least 2 to 3 availability zones, right? So that, right? So that this is going to be helpful for you, right? This is the load balancer HA, right? This is the load balancer HA here, right? That's why you are selecting 2 subnets here. That means 2 different regions. If one availability zone is went down, the load balancer will automatically going to enable to the second availability zone here, right? Second availability zone here. So now here you need to create a new security group here. Right? You guys need to create a new security group. So now here, actually, for the load balancer security group, you need to open only one port, which is nothing but 443 in the real-time environment. 443 in your respective real-time environment.
It belongs to both inbound and outbound for 443, or only?
No, actually, it's an inbound traffic only, right? Incoming traffic from the load balancer. You're not hitting to the outside the world.
Okay.
Only the inbound rule actually, right? So inbound, you need to restrict only the 443. You need to allow the only the 443 action. But here, as you are not completed, right? As you are not completed with regards to the right, as you are not completed with regards to the respective HTTPS, that means certificate manager, right? That will enable in the respective security section. So now here we'll only focusing on the respective HTTP 80 port you have been opening here. So the outbound is tagged automatically. So now here I've been using only the load balancer security group, where I have open only the 443 in the real-time environment. I will be open the 443, but at this moment I am been opening the respective. At this moment I am been opening the respective 80 as well as 443. 80 as well as 443. That is one main important thing that you guys need to understand. Clear as of now? Any questions? Any doubts? Clear, guys? Am I clear on this as of now? So now here we're going to create the load balancer here. Create the load balancer here. So here this is the default target group. So default here I am going to be creating as the Gmail target group default. Gmail target group default one. So here health checks is as it is over the index.html. Here, if you guys are using the customized port, there is a port override option. This is what I want to, right? I discussed yesterday actually, port override option. If you having any kind of customized port, here you need to select the override here and you need to enable that respective custom port. And here you need to enable the respective custom port. For example, 31380 or 3000, right? Or 3000. The custom ports here, right? You're using the port override option here. So now here, as of now, you are not using any custom port. You are using the same port here. That means the port 80, and healthy threshold is 2 and unhealthy is 2. And you know the timeout value and you know the interval, like the same thing.
One question here. So
And
if you do the override, right, instead of 80, we can reach out to any port, right? Because
any
since
port.
we usually
Since
pass.
your service is running on that specific custom port.
So we do, let's say if I replace 80 with 3000, so I don't have to pass the port in the URL, right? Or it will
In the
be.
URL, you don't need to pass. Why? Because it is routing from here.
Okay, got it.
Any other questions here? So now here, you guys need to understand about the, right here, you guys need to understand about the success code here. Here is your respective success code, 200 to 399. Here you need to mention. This is, you can by default, you can use as 200 to 399 only by default. Right? By default, you guys need to use 200 to 399 only. And now add the tags. So name equal to production ALB, environment equal to production, right? Environment equal to production. Now here, this is the Gmail. I'm been including the Gmail here, and create the target group. This is the default target group. That means the route is defaultly is going with the Gmail application here. The default route will go with the Gmail application. This is called my landing page. People will call this one as a landing page. So create a load balancer here. So this will take at least 2 minutes of time to create your respective load balancer.
So is there separate services inside on the left side for load balancing, this one, or it has to be part of Elastic only?
They are part of Elastic only. We'll discuss one after another, right? All the features will be introduced. So now here, so we'll see this is your respective DNS here. This is your respective DNS. So for your respective application load balancer, still the respective DNS was not enabled here. We'll see how it goes.
We didn't add that instance right to the particular load balancer.
Sorry.
No, we didn't add that instance to the load balancer, right?
No, here you have attached the target group, right? The target
Okay.
group itself will going to have an. Now you're not attaching directly to the load balancer. You're attaching to the target group. The target group is going to have in the respective instances. This is called DNS error actually. That means the new DNS is not added to your respective internet. It will take some time to update. So now here, yeah, it resolved now. So now here the default route, that means the home page of your respective, this is considered as this is in Google actually. Consider this one as in Google actually. And here you have an Gmail as your respective, right? Gmail as your respective, the child application of your respective Google homepage. As soon as the end user is going to hit your respective Gmail, it is routing to the mail.google.com. So to achieve this kind of things, what you guys need to do, right? You guys need to do the routing policies of your respective load balance. To achieve this, you need to go for a listeners first. Now here, this is the default route. So in my case, this is a landing page, right? In my example, this is the www.google.com is going to be hit to the default route, right? This is going to hit to the default route here. This is how my landing page. Example, consider this is my landing page here. But when the end user is going to hit to the respective gmail.com, right? When the end user is going to hit to the respective Gmail, you need to write the rules actually. You need to view/edit the rules. Add a rule, insert a rule here. Now add a condition, host base. So when the end user is going to hit to the mail.google.com, right? Mail.google.com, or forward to the specific Gmail target group, right? Specific Gmail target group. When the end user is going to hit mail.google.com, forward to the specific Gmail target group. Similarly, when the end user is going to hit to the right www.yahoo.com, forward it to the respective Yahoo target group. Right, you need to add a Yahoo target group now here. So how to create a target group? Go for the target groups here. The instances, target name Yahoo TG. So now here this is the health checks, the same procedure. You index.html. Advanced health checks. If you want to overwrite the port, here you can have an option to overwrite healthy threshold as 2, unhealthy as 2, and the success code 200 to 399. So now here attach only the Yahoo instances, include as below. So create a target group. So now here again go ahead and enable the routes here. Go for the load balancer, view and edit the rules, add the rule, insert the rule. Whenever the end user is going to hit to the respective www.yahoo.com, should route to the respective forward to the respective Yahoo target, right? Forward to the Yahoo target. Am I clear on this? This is how you guys need to write a rules actually. This is how you guys need to write a rules actually. Am I clear, guys? Any questions, any doubts? This is how you guys are going to enable the respective host-based routing. Right? This is how it's going to be happen. Any
Hello.
questions, Banu?
Yeah.
Jiva?
We
Any
are
questions?
using www.yahoo.com. Does
Yeah.
it override the another yahoo.com?
That means
You are using yahoo.com. Another person also there is an yahoo.com. I mean, there is no override of that.
another person also using yahoo.com in the sense, what does it mean?
I mean, there is already yahoo.com whose the web page is opening. Now we are using www.yahoo.com now. Means now we are routing to the our EC2 instance. There is no possible of I mean overriding there. I mean, which page it has to route actually now?
So that is going to be you going to be understand through state of authority records actually in the DNS actually. We call that one as a state of authority, SOA records. Who is the authorized person to change the respective routes? Who is the authorized person to change the respective routes, and who can able to access the specific routes actually? Who can able to access the specific routes? That is going to be discussed through Route 53. I will answer that question in the Route 53. If suppose Pramod is using the www.yahoo.com, can Shanmugh can override the yahoo.com? That's what your question, right? I can route my own request. So your question is either Pramod can override or Ganesh can override. So who will going to be override? That is going to be decided your respective state of authority record. What is called SOA, state of authority. Who have an authority to enable the respective .com, enable the respective Yahoo. That is going to be decided by your state of authority. That I will discuss later point actually. That is not concerned with this topic.
One question here, like if I would go for testing the CLB which we have created, right? So should I paste this yahoo.com in the browser and it will redirect me to the page we have created?
Yeah, that is true Route 53 actually. That is true DNS. Still you have not reached up to that level. So you're just understanding the load balance functionality. So you need to use the canonical record actually, CNAME record. So here, what I pasted here, this is the load balancer DNS. But ideally, to your respective end user customer, you will not going to give this one, right? You guys are going to be give your respective domain name. That domain name is going to map to the Route 53, right? That domain name is going to map to the Route 53 actually. That I will discuss in the Route 53 section. Still you have an at least 15 hours of section to reach to the router, right? That I will discuss there. How to enable your respective router with the help of canonical record, and who is the authorized person to use the specific domain, right? That I will discuss in the SOA record, state of authority record, right? So am I clear on this? What is the purpose of host-based routing? How to create the host-based routing? Back to our concept, ALB. So how to create a target?
Shambhuk, I
These
have a
things are
question.
clear.
So my
Yeah.
question is like, how we can able to set that, the maximum number of, hit actually, where which is in the load balancer or something, because we can't hit the multiple requests on the load
This
balancer.
is
So it
called
will be
throttling actually. We call this one as throttling. Okay. API throttling actually. This API throttling in the sense how many number of requests can my API can handle. Whether it's going to handle 1 lakh requests, whether it's going to handle the 10 lakhs requests, or it's going to handle the 10 million or
correct.
100 million, right? This is called API throttling, the maximum number of connections. What do you call this one? The technical term, API throttling. So this is going to be decided by your respective WAF actually, web access firewall. How many number of requests are going to be used? This is not going to set in the load balancer level. This is going to put over the respective WAF level, or people can use the API gateway level. So this will discuss in the later point. Load balancer wise, you cannot set the throttling value, right? We'll discuss in the these things on WAF. API throttling. Very good question actually.
So one more question here, like can you register multiple instances, EC2 instances in one target group?
Yeah, you can
For
register
the
multiple.
purpose.
N number of you can use. 100 instances you can register.
In
There
that
is no limit
case,
actually.
how will like find our request is going to which instance? Because there is no specific round robin or
Yeah, that I will come. I will come to the point actually. So here you have and go for a target group actually. Click on the respective target group. Here you have an attributes. Go for the attributes, edit here. Here you need to choose whether round robin or least outstanding request. Right? Outstanding request or round robin. If you want to enable the stickiness, for the example, the section affinity, right? How many days? Whether 10 days or 1 day. Generally, in the real-time environment, they will go with the respective 7 days actually. Generally, in the real-time environment. And in the real-time environment, they will go with the least outstanding request actually. What do you call? Least outstanding request. So this is I already explained you, right? What is the purpose of least outstanding? Here in the attributes, you guys need to choose the save this respective things actually in the target group. One is with enable the stickiness, the load balancer cookie, and second one is the stickiness with the 7 days. That depends. Your application developer will going to be decide how many days you require here. Got it? Am I clear on this?
a target group will act as a load balancer again, right? If you have multiple instances running behind under one target group, since we have the option for this round robin and list count, right?
Sorry, yeah, so yeah, coming to this one, like target group will have and whether it need to route the request to the multiple EC2 instances, right? Target group, right? This is my target group. Application load balancer is going to hit your respective target group. If I have a multiple EC2 instances, this target group will going to be decide whether it have the stickiness, whether it have the respective the functionality of least outstanding request or the round robin. Yes, target group will not going to act as a load balancer. Target group will going to decide the routing policies here, right? Target group will decide the routing policies here. it will not act like a, right, it will not going to act like a respective load balancer. Load balancer will route the request to your respective target group based upon end user request. In my case, whether it's an host based routing, when it is on www.yahoo.com, it's going to reach to the Yahoo target group. When it is on mail.google.com, it's going to reach to the Google target, Gmail target. Got it?
Yes, clear.
Right. This is how you guys are going to use the application load balancer, the functionality of the section affinity, and the functionality of the stickiness, and the functionality of the routing policies, where you guys need to choose these respective features. Under the target group, you have an attributes. This is an entry question actually, where you guys are going to be choose the stickiness, and where you guys are going to be choose the sticking duration. Right. So all these things will going to be discussed here, right? I'm clear on this. So this is how you guys are going to be route the specific request here to the target. This only you have discussed only the host based routing, guys, right? You guys are discussing only the host based routing here, but there are still you need to discuss about the, right, there are still you guys need to discuss about the path based routing, source IP based routing, and cookie based routing, header based routing, right? These things you guys need to discuss here. Am I clear on this? Right. Still, it will take at least 1.5 hour section, right? So we'll discuss one after other. Right. We'll continue by the tomorrow, guys. Right, and we'll discuss about the rest of the features of the application domain. Right. Please go through this respective video and let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharma.
Thanks.